Hi everybody, it's Diane from Tattered Edges Design with another Christmas project. Even though I keep saying this is probably it for Christmas, I keep having all these brainiac ideas and I wanted to try them out. So there's a couple more cards. I may do more than two, but I just, it was 8.5 by 11 cardstock, so I folded it in half, cut it in half. So I have two just to start with. And since I made that Tim Holtz plaque, if anyone watched that video, with the little squares, it just kind of dawned on me, oh, that'd be kind of cool on a card. Just put a bunch of squares together, make it look collagey like that. And in lieu of, really making little collages, I was just going to cut out pictures, if you will. These are copies of I think most of them are old postcards that I happen to own. Some of them are in my shop if you're interested. This is a Christmas card. This is a Christmas card. And those are postcards. This was it's a Christmas card, but it was more like a booklet thing. You actually, had pages in it and stuff. Anyway, I just printed them off a little smaller, well, in some cases a lot smaller, but a little smaller than actual size. I just cut this out. This is just an inch square piece of poster board, I think it is. Just get an idea, because I'm like, inchies are awfully small. See, my first thought was to really just cover the whole thing, but that's an awful lot of images, an awful lot of ink. So my next thought was, well, what about maybe two lines of three, and then like border or something is kind of where I'm going. So my next step is to cut out little images, and I printed a couple before. I kind of was thinking, well, if you were smart, you'd do I could take this and the candles. So then I started looking for pictures that had more than one thing I could cut out. And actually, my first thought too was to do more like cutesy cards, not the antique postcard look. But the cutesy cards that I had scanned, I couldn't find them right away. And these I did find, so I'm using that. Okay, I'm going to go cut little inch squares, and then we'll pick it up from there and see what we think. Okay, I've got a bunch of little 1-inch squares here. I did not use these. I just thought they were too big. I'll save them for something else. So I did print out another postcard. So I got quite a lot of images there, although, cutting images from the same card, you have some kind of repeat, looking images if you're following me there. So I just want to see. Yeah, I was thinking too, this is awfully small. Would it be smart to maybe, let's put that in the corner, maybe make one with 1.25 inch, 1.5 squares too for, the under, or the over 30 crowd that includes me that, although that, that's okay. They're not that teeny tiny. Oh, I think that's kind of cool. So then, I could print out, write something, Merry Christmas on the bottom. Could put a border behind it too, put a color back there. So think about that while I arrange this one. Yeah, I saved I don't know if I would use these, but I did save the little sentiments. And there's a bigger poinsettia for, I don't know, something else, or another card here. Or do we even want them butted up against each other? I hadn't really thought of that. I think that's cute. All right, let's try getting them up against each other. Of course, it makes it smaller of an area. What do you think? Well, I like both of them actually, but I guess I would, if I had to make a choice, and I guess I do, I guess I would space them out. All right, well, do we have enough for more cards? Because, I don't need cards, so let's make more. I don't need Christmas cards, but I like making them. What can I say? I have taken handmade cards and given them to my thrift store when it was open. They seem very appreciative of that. I have done that. Well, we're getting a lot of poinsettias left. Could make a card that was all poinsettias, couldn't we? Maybe. There's 4, 5. We're one short. Well, so we want to steal one. And put something else there. Then we're getting a little redundant on the houses. Okay. I don't know, would that be too redundant? Or it's kind of neat to have a theme? Actually, this one went this way. I don't know, that's kind of cool. And then we get the, repetitive award with these. Unless we, like stagger them, sort of. Would that do something? Because if I cut another paper, I'm going to have 2 cards. It's okay. I don't think it's terribly exciting. Well, okay, while we're thinking about that, do we want a color? This is just junk mail. Do we want them on a color? And no, I would probably not use this, although I could. It's kind of a bright red. I think I want more of a Christmassy, darker red. And yes, I guess I would pick red. All right. What does this look like? I don't know. What do you guys think? In one respect, it's better because I think it anchors them. But in another respect, you're losing the white, which I like. Obviously, you're losing. But I mean, the whole white, I almost think I'd put them on without. And then do like maybe a color border that I often do. All right, well, okay. Let's think about that. So I guess I will pause and do a little thinking and a little gluing. But yeah, I think this is kind of fun. And it had crossed my mind too, in lieu of using ink and paper, you could cut up maybe wrapping paper if you have old greeting cards, you've saved. If your thrift store is open and they sell them for like a nickel a piece this time of year, you could cut up stuff like that. It doesn't have to be printed things. Maybe even little pictures out of ads or magazines would be cute. I mean, because it's such a small thing. You can cut away words or whatever fairly easily. Okay, I will be back. All right, I'm popping back in because I had time to think. I didn't have time to glue. One, I decided I didn't like the all poinsettia. It's fine. I could certainly go that route sometime in the future, but I mixed them up. I like that better. So I was kind of thinking before gluing, it's like, well, these are so vintage looking. What if I did more like collage-y stuff around behind? I've got some fabric, a little cheesecloth. I'm not in love with this paper. I just happen to have it. I threw it on there because it was a reddish color. I would go get my Christmas papers. Something like this, and then sewing around. Definitely a doable thing. Or keeping it with my first thought, and then maybe just doing something like this and sewing around. So I'm showing you guys, just so you know, because I know everyone's going to run and do this. You have choices there. What do you like better? And I imagine most people would say this one, the left one, just because there's more going on there. I get that. So there. Okay, now I'm going to glue, and I will come back. Okay, we're all glued, and as you can see, I went with the more is more route, which I think is totally appropriate for Christmas. And I was kind of talking in the last segment, like everyone knows what this cheesecloth is, and I'm sure most people do, but maybe some don't. It's just white cheesecloth I bought at the grocery store, and I dunked it in coffee, essentially. Go look at my how I coffee dye paper video, which was one of my first ones, and I give the recipe in there if you really want to know. Okay, the glue's still a little wet. I ink the edges, as you can see. I think I am going to sew. And I was going to use red thread, and I hope I have more than this. I have to go check, or we're going to use green or something. Okay, so I'm just popping on to explain, and I'm going to pop off to sew, and I will be back. Okay, I'm back. Many hours later, I had to, go off and do not craft things. Anyway, they're sewn. I think that looks pretty good. It's all the same. I used white thread on the inside. Yeah, it's up to you too. Like, I think that's fine. I'm just going to leave it. If it bugs you, you can cover it with paper or washi tape or ribbon or something. Or you could use a contrasting thread and make this kind of like a frame and then put a picture or a sentiment or something up there too. So there's that. We do have one tiny minor flaw, which actually is a little more than minor. Can you see the stitching? I found another spool of red that was also almost out, but I thought it was adequate, which it was. It was enough, but I wasn't paying attention to it. And when I was getting towards the end, it had kind of somehow knotted with the tail, and it wasn't pulling, it was just getting tauter and tauter on the spool, and it was not sewing correctly. And I knew it was getting weird, but I didn't realize it sounded weird. It didn't look weird until I went, oh. So I have to cover that up. That obviously is not too cool. So, I have fabric in that, but I don't know, I thought ribbon maybe, because there's fabric, and then like all of a sudden there's a piece of fabric up here, it's going to look like, what is that doing? I also have washi tape, and I got a dog that's going to bark any second, I think. That's okay. But I think I'm going to have to run a strip down here then or something, or that's not going to look right. What about washi tape? I have a feeling that might be, maybe we don't want a pattern up there, and I don't want one that says anything because we already have Merry Christmas there. No, you just came in. Yeah. I don't know what her problem is. She just came in and she had a snack. Well, maybe is that better because it's not so bright and attention getting. I think that's better. All right, I'm just going to do that. And if this card doesn't look so great because of all this, I'll just keep it for myself. It just says, I don't know what. I do have a box of old, I used to do go antiquing quite a bit years ago. Well, Corona aside, I don't really do that so much anymore, but I would pick up cute Christmas cards when I would see them. They used to be kind of cheap in the stores, and I put them out at Christmas. I set them out. I think they're pretty. So anyway, I could just throw it in with those or something. Yeah, who votes the way I do with the old Christmas cards? They're so much cuter and prettier and everything. Another old lady soapbox. right. Yeah, that's okay. I mean, you know, it could be better, and there's a little bit showing there. Well, all right, Diane, you didn't see that. What are you going to do about that? Put a little ribbon over that, or a bow. That's too wide for a bow. Or another little piece of washi just coming off that. Let's see. Do we have a narrow washi that might... What about this gold? And if I had been paying attention, yeah, it's okay, to this spool, I wouldn't be doing any of this. Yeah, that just didn't even dawn on me. I should have been watching it anyway to make sure it didn't run out, and I didn't even really think of that. Actually, that's pretty. I think that's better than just the one washi by itself anyway. Okay, so once I get this down, the age-old question, are they done? And in which case, am I done with this video? I don't know. Okay. All right, well, that's okay. But I think the other ones, well, I was going to say the other ones, I'm just going to leave them alone. Yeah, I'm going to leave them alone. It's hard to tell because this isn't trim, but you know, this is, I think, it's a little too busy, ideally. Okay. Well, as Diane likes to say, get in there. You know, as I keep saying on these Christmassy type videos, I could put a couple sequins around. Well, let me grab, see what I think. But then again, this is a very vintage style. Maybe I don't want that. Where are the colors here? Yeah, I saw some YouTuber. I'm sorry, I can't remember who you are. And there's probably other people that do this anyway, but they got sequins out of to do something, and they had this neat little box. It was all divided, and they had tweezers, and it looked so professional and so easy, and I pressed my gaze. Oh, brother. That's funny. I couldn't have done that on a cue if I had to. Okay. Well, all humor aside, I'm going to be laughing about that all day. What do you think? I mean, it adds. Let's put it this way. If I don't do this, I could do snowflakes in off-white, like in we'll call it glue paper white. There's my little punch here. Yeah, if you've never thought of that. If you need a little bit of off-white for something and you don't have it, but you have old books, for journaling or whatever, you can use the margins or the end papers or something often for this kind of thing. It's usually a good aged color. Or I could do a couple with the sequins and a couple with snowflakes, or leave them alone. Well, actually, I think I like snowflakes scattered. Alright, we'll get rid of the explosive sequins that flew out on cue. I don't believe that. Alright. I don't know, how 3 ain't enough? Alright, that punch too. If you do what I just did and go 1, 2, 3, then they get kind of stuck together. If you don't, punch one and get it, and punch one and get it, they don't stick, but it seems like it takes forever, which is the better way to go. Well, I think this one will not get snowflakes. It's got too much going on. this one, yeah, I've got some scribbling and some stuff. I'll make sure I got a okay piece there. Can you see? Yeah, okay. Well, I think that's okay. I mean, you don't want to overdo the little busy things, do you? Even at Christmas? Alright, then am I going to be done after you watch the excitement of me gluing little snowflakes? And I've got a dog playing with a toy on a wood floor. Okay. And then there's envelopes to consider too, which I would not do that on camera here, but maybe just a red line around the whole thing I think I'll do. And there's also inside here. I had thought, I probably won't go this far, but if you wanted or had extras of these little squares that you had cut out from whatever your source is, yeah, you could put one, you know, kind of top here or maybe in the corner. That would be kind of cute. Yeah, actually, should I do that? Then I got to print out another postcard. Well, yeah, well, how much of a project do we want to make this or keep this going? Yeah, I generally never do that. Do you guys ever do that? Like, you know, no, this isn't this long enough that I've spent on this, I'm done. I usually don't do that. I just keep at it till I think it's done. But I don't know, maybe sometimes I should limit myself more. All right. Well, you know what? Well, Diane doesn't know what. I was just going to say, yeah, I think I'll do that. Okay. I'll pause. I'll print out another postcard. I'll get little images. And I think I'll marker a red border inside too then. One note, if you want to just use them for actually note cards, you know, you could be more done or just maybe do a border and not a thing. Keep it so you have more writing room. Okay, I'll be back in a little bit. Alright, I'm back and I guess I'm done. I went ahead, like I said, I wound up printing 2 postcards. And as long as I was doing the inside, I completely did the inside. I did a fine line red marker around and then just printed the sentiment off on my computer, which, you know, if you have access to that, it's really nice. I mean, I certainly could not letter that well. And you can write whatever you want. If you don't like, you know, you're not finding mass-produced Christmas cards you like, you can write whatever you want. Like I said, you could leave it blank and just write a note. Okay, I guess that's it. And just for the record, I did very exciting red border on the envelope, but it dresses it up. It does. Okay, so there we are. 4 more Christmas cards I really don't need, but I like making them and I have the supplies. It's kind of fun. So thanks for joining me and have a nice day out there.